Allen. Baseball is center stage and a box office smash. The Padres are in rehearsal and plan a debut in the fall for an eager audience. Fame comes to a man who earns a standing ovation with a performance that brings down the house. A star is born in Philadelphia and steals the applause for what should be a record run. The curtain closes on a director, but the show must go on with an understudy in the wings. Members of a supporting cast take their bows and audition for leading roles on Broadway. Big league characters portray their fellow actors in cameo appearances. Dramatics enthrall on This Week in Baseball. Be an instant winner in the Roll Age Relief Man Match and Win game. First prize, $15,000. American Kansas City sitting pretty after a 4-game sweep in Detroit. Pat Sheridan showed the way, hitting .444 in the series with a home run and 4 RBIs, including game winners number 8 and 9, helping the Royals charge back into contention in the West.
This division's up for grabs, really, and hopefully the way we played the last month, we've been improving. We've got a lot of good young pitchers. Mark Guzza, Brett Saberhagen, they're pitching very well, and the hitting's coming around. We're getting some timely hits, and we're winning on the road, and if we can just improve our home record, we're going to be in the race up to the end.
Onyx Concepcion also contributed big, going 9 for 16 against Detroit and driving in 3 runs. Man alive, KC was clicking. 27 runs on 50 hits in the 4 games. Made some special deliveries as designated hitter, batting almost .500 in the series and scoring 4 times. Dane Orridge went 3 for 9 and a doubleheader, had a game-winning hit and 3 runs driven in. Second baseman Frank White belted 2 home runs for a total of 12. 1 more than his previous career high for an entire season, and that complemented his rock-steady defense.
6 Gold Gloves for Frank White, that speaks for itself. Also, the fact that Frank's been an RBI guy, he'll get his 65, 70, 75 RBIs a season. So not only does he save you runs with his glove, but he's knocked a lot of big runs in over the years.
The Tigers appeared more like kittens when they were declawed by Dan Quisenberry, who saved 2 games and had a major league leading total of 30, including 18 in as many chances. And the Royals won 13 out of 17 overall to move just 3.5 games out of first. Chicago stayed just ahead of KC by sailing into Milwaukee and sweeping 4 games. Tony La Russa's troops buried the Brewers with 24 runs on 44 hits, 18 of them for extra bases, and the Brew Crew went on to lose 10 straight. Brewer backers simply couldn't bear to behold the likes of Harold Baines, who went 8 for 17 in the series with 5 extra base hits and had 4 hits in 1 game for the 6th time this year. Greg Walker had 5 hits in the series. 3 were home runs. He hit 2 in 1 game for the 2nd time in a week and drove in 6 runs against Milwaukee. Greg Luzinski also had 6 RBIs in the series, and 3 of them were game winners to give the Bull a total of 10. The Brewers were also brought to their knees by White Sox pitchers. Tom Seaver improved his record to 11-6 with win number 5 in a row. Bannister boasted a 10-7 record, went all the way against Milwaukee with 11 strikeouts as the White Sox challenged for the top spot in the wild and woolly West. In Oakland, the youthful A's stopped the 6-game losing streak when Seattle came to town. Bill Caudle is the stopper that A's manager Jackie Moore calls on most often, and he answered loud and clear against the Mariners with 5 strikeouts and 3 innings of work. Caudle collected 3 saves in the series and later added another for a club record 25. The A's also greeted Seattle with a batting barrage. Dave Kingman hit for average instead of power. 357 in the series, and all but one of his hits were singles. Kong also surprised everybody by stealing his first base of the season. How about that? Mike Heath was a healthy hitter against the Mariners. 2 home runs, 6 RBIs, 4 runs scored, and a .333 series average. Carney Lansford cranked it up and went 7 for 15 in the 4 games. Altogether, the A's punched out 38 hits and scored 25 runs to sweep the series and overtake Seattle in the West. In New York, the Yankees continued their climb by sweeping Cleveland in a 4-game set. 25-year-old rookie Dennis Rasmussen raised his record to 6-3 with win number 5 in a row. Joe Cowley pitched a 3-hit shutout for his first complete game in the majors. Ray Fontenot tossed 5 1/3 innings of no-hit ball and went on to earn win number 5. And of course, the Yankees find their relief in Dave Righetti. 2 saves in the series for a total of 19, number 6 in the league, and an ERA of 1.96. The Yankees were also on the ball at the plate. Don Mattingly wound up and walloped home runs number 15 and 16 on successive days, and both were game winners, his 9th and 10th of the year. Second in the league with a .337 batting average, Mattingly could run off with the batting title. Don Baylor blasted home run number 20, and the Yankees remained the hottest team in the majors with a 21-7 record after the All-Star break. Now let's open the notebook for This Week in Baseball's TWIB notes from around the American League. Toronto's Cliff Johnson pinch hit against Baltimore and belted the 19th pinch hit homer of his career to set a new Major League record. He had shared the old mark of 18 with Jerry Lynch of Pittsburgh and Cincinnati. Cliff Johnson, peerless power in the pinch. Minnesota's Tom Brunansky hammered homers in 3 straight games against California and hit 5 in 8 games overall for a total of 21, as the Twins and Angels split 4 games in their seesaw battle for best in the West. Now it's time for this week's Volkswagen quiz, brought to you by the 1984 models. It's not a car, it's a Volkswagen. Wade Boggs of the Boston Red Sox went 4 for 5 in a game against Detroit with 2 homers and 3 RBIs, and he scored 4 times. That gave him 70 runs scored, tied for 4th in the league. But for this week's quiz, can you name the man who scored the most runs in one modern Major League season? Stay tuned for a slugger who scored without speed. Kleiner GT Stars. National League arrival. Chicago's Wrigley Field filled up fast for a first-place battle with New York. On display were Cub bats, now swinging for last year's Met hitting coach.
Well, I don't have any near and dear thoughts about the Mets right now, to tell you the truth. I'd like to see them lose, and I'd like to see us win, and I don't have any in-between feelings.
The Cubs were feeling just fine, sweeping all 4 games with 32 runs on 51 hits. Davis got the Cubs going in the opener with home run number 17. Davis went 2 for 3 with 4 RBIs in the game, and Chicago cruised 9-3. The Cubs were also in love with their pitcher, because before this game, Dick Ruthven had gone winless since he defeated the Mets in mid-April. When it was over, more than 30,000 fans were shouting just 2 words:
Cubs win! Cubs win!
In next day's doubleheader, Chicago's bats were booming again. Keith Moreland delivered the game winner with his 14th home run, and Wrigley was rocking. Same inning, Ron Cey also played long ball, number 17 for the Penguin, and the words that have become Chicago's battle cry resounded one more time.
Cubs win, Cubs win.
The applause in Game 2 of the Twin Bill went to the relief pitchers. Tim Stoddard came on for the win to improve his record to 8-4. Lee Smith got save number 25, and Eastern Division leading Chicago shouted again.
Cubs win! Cubs win!
In the West, the Astro forecast was gloomy when first place San Diego came a-calling. Tony Gwynn terrorized Houston on 6 for 11 hitting in the 3-game series to raise his average near 370, best in the majors by more than 20 points. Steve Garvey stayed on a roll by batting .333 against the Astros with game-winning hit number 12. At first base, Garvey went on to set a league fielding record with 139 straight games without an error. The Padres mixed it up in all departments. Take, for example, a steal of home by Alan Wiggins, and add to it some eye-catching defense. San Diego also took its bows on the mound. Andy Hawkins proved effective in long relief, tossing 6 innings for win number 6. Tim Lawler squared his record at 9-9 with his 3rd win over the Astros this season. Lefferts came on for save number 6, and the Padres took 2 out of 3 to further extend their commanding lead in the West. Time now to review this week in baseball's TWIB notes from around the National League. San Francisco dismissed Frank Robinson as manager. Third base coach and former Philly skipper Danny Ozark replaced him. In Ozark's debut, the Giants beat Atlanta on a 9th-inning grand slam by Jeff Leonard. San Francisco was 42-64 under Robinson this year, the worst record in the majors. Philadelphia rookie Juan Samuel has been running wild on the bases with 54 steals to lead the majors. He's well on his way to breaking the modern Major League record for steals by a rookie. 71 by Montreal's Tim Raines in just 88 games in 1981. Now, let's run off the answer to this week's Volkswagen quiz. Babe Ruth holds the record for most runs scored in a modern Major League season, 177 in 152 games for the New York Yankees in 1921. And by the way, Babe hit 59 home runs that year. Chuck Klein holds the National League mark, 158 runs scored in 156 games for Philadelphia in 1930. You know, fans, baseball is full of frustration, irritation, and aggravation. But when things go right, the sensation is pure elation. Either way, it's a game of animation. Sometimes up and sometimes down.
Sometimes you start feeling so lost and lonely. Then you find it's all been in your mind. Sometimes you keep busy reaching out for something. You don't care. There's always something there. Sometimes you can't see that all you need is one thing. If it's right, you could sleep at night. It can take some time, but at least I'm hearing right. 'Cause I'll tell you one thing, you can't get what you want. Do you know what you want? Said you can't get what you want. Do you know what you want? Sometimes you can't see that all you need is one thing. If it's right, you could sleep at night. But it can take some time. But at least I'm hearing right. 'Cause I tell you one thing, you can't get what you want. Till you know what you want. Said you can't get what you want. Till you know what you want.
You can't always get what you want, but big leaguers never stop trying. It's said that imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, and baseball fans just love to imitate their favorite players. Dress like them, talk like them, and act like them. Baseball comedian Max Patkin is known for his ability to mimic players in action. But sometimes big leaguers like to play the imitation game. Check out Toronto's Dennis Lamp with his impersonation of Gaylord Perry. Hey, Gaylord, we just saw that. Yes, indeed. That's the spitting image of old Gaylord. Cincinnati's Brad Leslie can get carried away, too, prompting Nolan Ryan of Houston to do his Leslie look-alike. But nobody does Brad like Brad himself. Baltimore's Rick Dempsey once impersonated Milwaukee's Robin Yount with some extra padding, while Oriole teammate Sammy Stewart made a brief appearance as Jim Palmer. Man, these guys really can make a splash. Here's Lamp again, and this time he's making like Rick Sutcliffe of the Chicago Cubs. And I'd say he's got you down pretty good, Rick. New York Yankee Dave Winfield has a distinctive style in the batter's box. And although Lamp is no hitter, he can do a wicked Winfield wind-up and blast-off. Even managers are fair game, as Los Angeles skipper Tommy Lasorda found out from Pedro Guerrero.
Howdy, boy! You can do it, Mo. Come on now.
While San Diego skipper Dick Williams keeps a close eye on his players, one of them keeps an eye on him. Take it away, Kurt Bevacqua.
Well, gentlemen, we've run into a little bit of a dilemma here through the course of the season, and what we've decided to do is make some changes.
You're about as funny off the field as you are on. Don't let the door hit you in the rear when you leave.
You move your head, but I do the hitting, not the door.
I guess there's a little ham in every big league player. Now it's time for the Big Stick Player of the Week award, brought to you by new improved Old Spice Stick deodorant and antiperspirant. Greg Luzinski of the Chicago White Sox is this week's winner. The Bull went on a rampage with RBIs in 10 straight games, driving in a total of 14 runs, including 4 homers and 5 game-winning hits. A .400 batting clip that raised his average more than 20 points and helped spark the Sox to an 8-2 mark. Congratulations, Bull. And that's all for now, folks. See you next week on This Week in Baseball.